got it. All right, so this meeting is being recorded. I want to thank you all for being able to join us. I think this meeting is a very, very important meeting. It is an assessment meeting where we assess our planning process, where we are in the process, what's left to be done, and today we are going to make a very important decision as to how we are going to do this program. So we have some challenges that we're still facing, but I think today we're all going to assess all our challenges and all our advancements, how far we have come, if we have been able to reach some milestones, etc. We're still waiting for some of our colleagues, but we'll go ahead and start. And traditionally, when we start, we do offer some prayers. So if we don't mind, I would like somebody to lead us in prayer. I know many of us have, as a matter of fact, I'm very glad that Damilare is able to join us today. I know how busy he is, but he can offer us a Muslim prayer, and I think that would just be appropriate today. So Dami, please, can you please unmute and give us a short prayer? Thank you. Dami, are you able to give us a prayer? Okay, so it seems like Damilare is not able to make the prayer. In that case, we will yield to Mr. Okuyeme to give us a short prayer, please. Are you able to do that, Mr. Okuyeme? All right.
The line is breaking up.
We can hear you. Are you able to do the short prayer to start? Dr. Remy, could you please come to the rescue and just quickly give us a short prayer? This I don't know what's going on with these guys.
Sure.
Thank you, dear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Let us pray. Father, Lord, we thank you for bringing us here together today. We commit this meeting we're going to have into your hands. Whatever we're going to discuss, may it be for the great purpose of this upcoming event and this organization, and to benefit the works of our hand, that we pray that you continue to impact. All this we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. So, as you know, we have all been very, very busy. Okay. So we've all been very busy. I've been getting messages from some of our colleagues who are trying to join us. Let's hope that they will be able to do so. I've invited some very special friends here today, and my sister and my colleague and right hand is able to join us today. The Honorable Bukola Shonuga is with us. She's a celebrity and a veteran in this business. So I'm really glad that she's able to join us as well. So as you know, we've been working on the Spirit of Peace and Prosperity Summit in Nigeria for the purpose of peace and security in Nigeria, which everybody believes that this is a very critical time and a very important program. One of the challenges that we faced is that the first batches of letters that we sent out to active participants in order to invite them to participate, we sent some to some organizations and some to the government officials, etc. As you know, all the people that we sent this letter to, most of them have decided to act on their own to do exactly the idea that to do their own program based on the idea that we shared with them. It is, of course, very clear that this is a commonplace thing in Nigeria, and you know, that's why they call the country dream killers. But we are, of course, going to be very committed and strong about this issue, so that we're not dissuaded by those type of actions. On 3 occasions, we've seen people trying to steal our ideas and to dilute it, and all of them are people that we've sent these letters to. The unfortunate thing is they don't really know why we are doing this event. They don't understand what is at stake. As you know, I've committed myself to rewriting the history of Nigeria from a really collective perspective, doing extensive research with painstaking effort and analysis to understand how to aggregate all the various perspectives and to align them into a common understanding of how we got here. So the true evolution of Nigeria is what can be expected in what I'm putting together. I've never seen anything written like that before, which is a new opportunity for us. And also the fact that we're doing the Truth and Reconciliation with Awolowo and Akintola is very, very important. When I discussed this with some of the traditional rulers in the North, they said, you know, the issue with Akintola and Awolowo is a Yoruba thing, and they were not able to, in spite of best effort, they didn't see it as you know, as a concern or to warrant any input from the North. And maybe that's a good thing, because they were not opposed to it. They were, however, very interested in all the other programs, but they said that the reconciliation is something that is Yoruba based. And because of that, I realized that we are able to do the program as such, even though the purpose of the program is really of national interest, because some of the people did not understand how this is connected, and which is why I'm putting the book together. This is why the book is very important, to make the case for why we are doing this and why we're doing all the various programs. Okay, so a few days ago, Dr. Remy and I had a meeting with Chief Justice Akintola, who is the direct descendant of Chief Ladoke Akintola. And I've shared the meeting video and minutes with everybody, so that you're able to see, able to hear for yourself the concern, as well as the importance of having this particular program. This program is really complicated in such a way, and I need to communicate it to you, that it is incredibly necessary, and I've had a greater understanding of why somehow we've been directed to do this program. Why this program is so important. We have understood how the program connects to the evolution of Nigeria, especially Nigerian governance system, Nigerian experience. The conflict between Awolowo and Akintola led directly to the political instability that started in the Western region at that time, which led to the first coup, and the first coup led to the second coup, and the second coup led to the third and the fourth, and so on and so forth. So this really is what has sent us in this direction. And each time the democratic government tried to come back, we remember the clashes of the 80s between UPN and NPN, the Awolowo and Akintola, Awolowo and Shagari, and so on and so forth. I mean, we had almost the same problem in Ekiti, where they had the same type of conflict. So this is one of the reasons that we are starting this program with a really candid prayer. So the first day of the event really delved into the effort to bring the various religious leaders together in order to speak intellectually on the issue, as well as talk about how they see religious harmony, and pray for that, meditate for that, speak towards that, convince their constituents and the nation that we need to practice more religious tolerance as well as ethnic tolerance. So that first day is incredibly critical to the rest of the days. And of course, the second day is the Truth and Reconciliation. The Truth and Reconciliation is getting even more important than we can imagine, and that's a good thing. So the third day remains the economic program, and the fourth day is the day of the Ark, which is the African Royal Kingdoms. As you know, we bring all the kings together. And the fifth day is the cultural diversity program, where we celebrate the various cultures and diversity of Nigeria. And what we've learned is that we have never done that enough. That is, even though there's many cultural activities in the country, but everybody does it separately. There is no interaction of cultural elements, of cultural gestures. So we hope to showcase the food and so on and so forth. Now, as you see, all these programs are very necessary to do physically, because it is easier for us to do this program virtually. However, it is contingent on raising money to do it, right? So we're going to hear from a fundraising committee and see how far we've gotten on that. But before we do, this is one of the critical parts of this program. I want you to know that it is more important to host this program and do the best we can than not to do it. It's a very critical program. It's very important, and you've seen yourself that those who try to replicate it, those who try to steal our ideas, couldn't get far. And it's a waste of time, even though everybody's now talking about signing peace accord. These are the things that we, as you know, we have in our agenda, and we shared with some of the people that we are inviting, and that's how this idea got leaked out, because nobody thought of it before we started to do it. So here we are. I have reached out to Brother Theo Lawson from Freedom Park to see how we can do this event if we're not able to raise the money that is required. And I believe that once Chief Anita gets here, she'll be able to tell me how far she's gotten with Mr. Lawson. I've reached out to Mr. Lawson. I haven't heard back from him. But we are going to be making some concrete decision today. So I will leave that to the last when everybody has shared their opinion. But as I mentioned to you, we have some wonderful friends here today. I'm not sure if Dr. Uchenna Ekwo is also with us. I've introduced Dr. Ekwo to you, Mr. Tony, Mr. Opieme. If you remember, he is the president of the Center for Media and Peace Initiative, and he supports our work and our agenda, and we need to get more involved with him. He's a very influential and prominent journalist, and who is able to really support what we're doing in many ways. And I want you, Mr. Opieme, to please work directly with him so that he can help navigate things around, media, etc. Okay. I hope he will join us today, so he should be here in a moment. I know that. So, all right.
You said you're going to tell me last time I had. I didn't get the number again.
Okay. Is Dr. Uchenna with us already? If you are, please unmute and speak. Or speak when you can, or type or something, so we know that. Okay. All right. So Damilare is not able to speak yet because he's at work, but he's listening in. All right. So I think I have given an overview of the event and where we are on the issue. I will yield to Mr. Agubiade to tell us how far we are on the fundraising, and then we'll talk about other issues. Okay. Like I said, we have some people here today that is very critical to hear from them. So, Mr. Agubiade, please. Okay, great. All right, very cool. Dr. Ekwo is with us and is listening in. So I want Mr. Opieme to please connect with him directly and try to figure out some direction. I'm sure he's able to advise accordingly and able to help navigate where else we'll take this. So while we're waiting for Mrs. Dorcas and Chief Anita, let's hear from Mr. Agubiade. If you don't mind, Mr. Agubiade, please unmute and just give us an overview of where we are with the fundraising and what your thoughts are. Thank you. Don't forget to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm driving. I've been waiting to get connected. So I'm driving to vacation. I will say that good evening, everyone. My name is Agboyega Agubiade. I'm supposed to, or rather, I'm working on the coordination of the sponsorship. And as we speak at the moment, we are not really having an encouragement response to that. So, which is creating a kind of Lord response to the sponsor, which is very vital because we need to have a financial backup, financial support from sponsors. And this is a real challenge. And actually, I draw up a budget so that we can have an idea of what will be required to be able to meet this obligation. And the cost implications include logistics, printing of materials. That's at the proposals, which is about 15 pages, and making it to look presentable for the clients, and also to get transportation, because moving in Lagos is hard. like one of our governors said, those of us who live in Lagos, we live in hell because it takes up 4 hours to drive from the mainland to the island. So these are the challenges actually we are looking at. And I'm thinking that with the short period we should have everybody on board so that we can have as many people to do the marketing. And while I'm anticipating that, I spoke to one of the zonal director of one of the largest network, provider in Nigeria, which is NTA. He's supposed to revert back to me whether they can co-opt or part of the organizers. I've not heard from him yet, but hopefully, if he comes to us, he can sell the project because the entity is credible and they can be part of national discourse. So all in all, we need the financial assistance to be able to get this letter of sponsors to organizations who can help in terms of finance. So I think so far so good. That's what we have done so far in the environment, and we already lined up a crew for the documentary, for the recording of the events. So that's my part here. Out.
Thank you very much. Let me ask you quickly, Mr. Agboyade. So as the letter started to go out, because we remember we have a list of companies to reach out to, and entities, both private and public, and reach out to. Have we started to do that?
Yes, from what I gathered, we learned that Cyber Oracle, Davilade, promised that they're going to give us a dispatch rider. I don't know how far that has done with Mrs. Dr. James. And I said, even if we do a letter or drop it in the respective offices, we still need to have a professional follow-up. When you drop a letter in Nigerian environments and you don't follow up professionally, they will not look at you as you are serious. So dropping the letter is an aspect. Another thing is to do a proper follow-up in terms of using the Connect, one or any of our members we have, to be able to get a positive response. So we're expecting Mr. Dorcas James to tell us how many of these actually letters, because I said I can't do it alone, how many of these letters have gone to this organization and who are the contact person they must have contacted.
Who's responsible for sending out the letters?
I expect that they said they have ready to give us a courier services. I don't know.
No, but Damilari's issue is about following up and delivering the letters. But those are the ones that are allocated to Damilari. Of course, there is some funds on the table for there's a petty cash on the table for running around. And you just need to contact Mrs. Chief Anita to disburse you.
They have to do that.
However, so that you could, whatever it is that you needed. That's what we agreed on. So anyway, all right. So the letters haven't been going out yet.
They have not been going.
All right.
It's on my own side, yes.
They have or they haven't?
They haven't, not on my own side, but I learned that that's why I want Miss Dr. James, if we can come in, whether the letter come from their own. I've shared the letter, the copy to everybody on the platform, so that if we have your own contact, you can print out. But I doubt it. We need to have a central office to do that, which I see doubt whether they have that already in place. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. All right. Okay. So here we are with the fundraising. Obviously, it's still a challenge. Like I said, I haven't heard back from Theo Lawson from my proposal. I don't think that he's completely opposed to it, And I believe that we can make that happen. If Chief Mrs. Anita was here, she'd be able to really give us a better overview and plan that she has laid out. But in the meantime, I would invite Dr. Remelako to tell us about how far we are with the Akintola family. Dr. Remy, please.
Yes, just a second, please. Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon from New York. Yes, so Dr. Wale and I met with Justice Akintola, I believe 2 days ago or so, and it was a good meeting. He was grateful for the initiative, for the Truth and Reconciliation project that will be coming up this November. And he gave us his, support. He's actually the last born of Chief Akintola. And I did receive other contacts. There's a commissioner, but that's a niece, and she wanted me to follow up with the direct descendants first. And just yesterday, I received some information about another direct family member who is based in the UK. So they would like us to actually involve, more people, such as traditional rulers and other key members of the family in this Truth and Reconciliation. And I believe, as Dr. Wale has said, and also I believe you posted the video, the meeting link we had with him. So, he wanted us to go forward with the healing, the reconciliation, the conflict prevention, and moving forward. So right now, I don't have much details in terms of the exact information that we'll be working on as part of this program in November. Besides that, we're in contact with several people, and they're also looking for more people that they believe will be instrumental in being part of this event. So the first meeting that we had was just to get an introduction and also to hear more about what to cover, issues to cover, do's and don'ts, and things like that, and then getting their support. And then I think there's going to be another meeting or several meetings where other family members will be invited, and then we can plan around exactly what they would like to review or things like that. So I will keep you posted as I get the information.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And on the same parallel, we have also reached out to the Awolowo family. And I'm in constant discourse with the family head, Dr. Awolowo, Dr. Awolowo Dosmo, and there are other Awolowo members who will be joining us as well. So they all prepared. The challenge we have now is about the venue. If we don't raise money, if we can still use the venue, that is the main challenge that we are grappling with right now. So before I go forward, I want to let everyone know that Esther Ofoli just joined us, and Esther is the one responsible for the school children. And I will ask her once she's settled to tell us about the school children. Their participation is very, very critical. And I think that she's been able to secure the performances of some of the school children. Now, before we do that, I want to ask Mrs. Shonoga to please feel free to ask any question as we go on. If there's any question, if there's any comment, we want you to please feel free to ask this question. Whatever comes to mind. If there's something that you wanted for clarity, we would like to hear your observation. And the same goes for Dr. Epwo. Please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask, because all the rest of us are very familiar with the process and where we are. And also, Mr. Bola Johnson, BJ, if you have any questions, please. As a matter of fact, before we move forward, I just wanted to, some of us are already familiar with BJ, and BJ has been asked to help with the publication of the book. So BJ, is there something you want to say now about that? I can show you some snippets of the book so you get an idea of what we're putting together. It's really remarkable. And I have, okay, I have some graphics, and I want you to see the quality of the graphics and how we are able to place it in such a way that that makes sense. And I want to also share with you some sizes that could be useful. So if you have a moment, you could please take the stand and just give us an idea of what's going to be required in publishing the book. How soon do you want the book out? What are your advices? What are the requirements? And how soon do you want the transcript? And so on and so forth, including revisions. Please. BJ, take the floor, please. BJ, don't forget you are muted, so if you you muted, BJ.
Let's see. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yes. Good afternoon to you guys outside Nigeria. Yeah, my name once again is, can you hear me now? My name is Bola Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome.
Yeah. What we're looking at here is, I think our time frame is less than a month from now. The summit is scheduled for the 7th in Nigeria. Am I right?
Yes, yes, of course, yes.
Yes. So I don't know how well we are doing with time. So even if we're talking about, our manuscripts, the book, do we have all our materials? The size proposed already, I think I advised the cost in that regards with the quantity proposed. I mean, for decision to be taken, but time is really of essence here. So I think efforts should be geared towards, putting things in the right perspective. The production, of a book, you give a timeline of about maybe 2 weeks for the actual production, to take place. Everything has to just do with time. I don't know how well we are doing with time.
All right. So what you're saying is by next week you need the transcripts.
Yes,
okay.
For an event for almost first week in November. Yes, you should have yes, because it requires planning, before production will start. Yes. Give it like about 2 weeks. Yes.
Okay. All right. I can get the transcript, the manuscript to you by then. I just, but it's not. I don't know if it's going to be finished, and I feel terrible that Mrs. Dorcas is not here right now to give us the full list of all the participants. And I know that Damilare too is busy at work, so that we can have the full list. We haven't really mapped out all the participants yet. Okay, but there are things that we have that is really remarkable, and maybe later I will share that with everybody, so you have a sense of what we are putting together and what we are doing. You know, it's so interesting that history. It seems like Nigerian government forbade history to be taught in classes, so there's a huge gap from what we know about our own history, and it's tough to have that. We have serious issues, and you know, again, I think this program is just incredibly necessary. So I would like to hear from Sister Esther, and then we'll hear from Mr. Okuyeme. So BJs, it seems it's clear that I'm going to send you, by next week, I'll send you the manuscript, you review everything, and we'll discuss more about that, because we do need that.
Okay.
Okay. So
Okay.
we'll do that. If you have any questions, let me know as we continue this meeting. I want to make sure we finish this meeting on time. Sister Esther, can you please just give us a quick overview of the school children, how committed they are, and what they're doing, what they want to present, and what they need from us? Please unmute and speak. Thank you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Esther Fule, and I'm so excited we're having this meeting. Just like BJ said, concerning the publication, I think we should a little bit be fast on it if we want to achieve, because of the timeline. I'll basically also be presenting some students that will be taking the national anthem, and also speaking on the SDG as it relates to what we're doing. And presently we got 3 schools and then selected students that will be doing the presentation. Actually, after the welcoming ceremony, the children will be doing this presentation so that they could go back to their school. We don't intend to keep them all through the program, apart from the day one where they'll have their presentation. And like I spoke with Wale, we said after their presentation, we will be giving them maybe certificates of participation. And I have already prepared their profile, which I sent to you, Mr. Wale, profile of each child and what they are talking about, and also the teacher that will be coming with them. Mr. Rotimi is going to be in charge coordinating the students as well as myself. So we will be needing maybe gift items to give to them, refreshments and certificates of plaque of participation. That's what I think, because I know a particular school is going to come all the way from Ogun State, except because of the traffic that is very bad, and there are about 17 of them with their teacher representing the 17 goals, as it will reflect on what we're talking at the theme of our own conference. So I don't know if we can provide accommodation so they won't be so stressed and they can go back the next day. If it's something that is not, if it's something we can do, it will be appreciated, because the risk and the traffic on that road is very, very bad. So that would encourage them to to stay the night and go back the next day. Aside that, the students are ready. We've sent videos and we can send them again for updates if we want to see. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for all the lovely work that you're doing. So what I would recommend first is that we let the kids know that their profile is going to be included in the book. So having the book itself, I think for them and their school is a good thing. And the book is going to feature the history of Nigeria in a way that is very intelligible, that the school could even use, and maybe they want to adopt it for their curriculum or whatever the case may be. But I think that in itself would be very useful. As I mentioned, I will share some aspects of the book with you. So just some pictures and curations that I put together. Of course, once you see the picture, you can imagine the words. But I think it's important that we see that the evolution of Nigeria itself and a lot of things that people don't know about the country has been revealed in this book. So I think it's going to be very critical. So I'll share that with you because I'm very excited about it as well. And I think it's something that's going to be very useful. So we got the school children. We need to make sure that we have representation of university students as well. Okay. So we continue to work on that. I don't know who among us is working on that, but certainly we need to re-engage Uncle Wale to make sure, because of the date changes and stuff like that, make sure that Uncle Wale Soyinka is on board. I understand how involved he was in the whole Akintola and Awolowo saga, which really puts him in a bind if he were to participate. He can't be the moderator for this program. He was way too involved. So we have to really reorganize that schedule to make sure that we see what role Uncle Wale would play. But since we have traditional rulers with us, we also want to make sure that they play some tangible roles in this program. So part of this is we want to ensure that we have really good moderators. We have a very good agenda, very well set up programs, but we still need hosts to anchor each of these programs and see and be able to guide it properly. So I think that is incredibly critical. So let's continue to work on that. Welcome, Chief Anita. We hope that
thank you, Dr. Wale, and good evening all. Sorry, I'm coming in late. I've been at an event since morning. I just came in now. Thank you.
Thank you. No worries, no worries. Thank you very much. We have some extraordinary people here today with us. Joining us, we have Ms. Bukola Shonuga, who is a veteran journalist, an entrepreneur, a scholar, and educator, who is a veteran, a dear friend, and someone that you certainly need to meet. And we also have Dr. Uchenna Ekpo, who is also a journalist, a professor, a college professor, and a veteran when it comes to media. Nigeria is the president of the president of the Center for Media and Peace Initiatives. So also here with us is listening attentively, and he's promised to support us. He supports the agenda, and
thank you.
Yes, and
thank you so much, Mrs. Bukola Shonuga. You're welcome. My pleasure meeting you.
Thank you. Yeah,
Professor.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Brother Wally, thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to really be among, this esteemed colleagues and community leaders and world leaders. So I am excited to be here, and I'm just listening, taking it all in to see how we can make it happen and how I can contribute. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I just love your prolific way and very natural way of speaking. You've given us confidence in this group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, Uchenna, we cannot, Dr. Ekwo, we can't hear you because you need to be connected with audio. So I don't know how you're going to do that. Try to figure out how to connect with audio. So the way you connected, we can't hear you. We can't see you, we cannot hear you. So try to connect properly, use the link and then connect. And then we'll be able to hear and see you. We would like to hear your voice and hear your input. Thank you very much, my sister, for your very, very eloquent comment, and just grateful for everyone's support for this really, really important agenda. So let's hear from Uche about his plan. And Uche, remember last week we had this discussion. You're supposed to provide some information so we can make some informed decision on your plan. But let's talk about it briefly. How far are you? And I want to tell you that the videos you shared were just spectacular. Those type of things could work. You know, the first one with the people like men at work, those men with gears, with work costume, I think that would work perfectly for the third day for the economic program. It speaks to the workers. It speaks to the economic community. So I don't know if you were thinking of that, but I think that really fits perfectly. So let's hear from you, and I have some comments to also make to you. But let's hear from you first. How are you? What's happening? Where are you with the process? Please unmute and speak. Waiting to hear from you. Can you hear me? Okay. All right. You figure out your microphone. I don't know if you, yeah. I'm talking about Uche Obi. Can you unmute and speak? Because if you're speaking and you're still muted. All right. Okay. Once you're able to do that, please let us know so we can hear from you. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right. So sorry. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I want to first and foremost, I'm honored to be part of this event. I will be forever grateful for the opportunity. Yes, so far we're on it. I must say, the more I think of the event is getting closer, the more creative I am. The rehearsal, I've started the rehearsal so far. Maybe tomorrow, next tomorrow, I'll show you some of what we are planning to present. Like what you said, sir, the video you saw, it's a dance from South Africa. It's called Gone Boot. Gone Boot. I have occupational dances that I'm planning: farmers, fisherman dance, hunters dance. I think I'll send you my presentation from day one to the end of the day till the 7th, the 5th. I think I've said it. I've sent that. Then aside that, the guy that I said he should do the job have not replied me on what I sent to him. So I wait him to reply me so I can give the reply back, not to come back to the table and say, no, it's not like this and this and this. I believe when I walk in, I want to get the action part and I will tell them, hope nothing's going to change this. Because if anything is changing it, think about it. Get me the straight answer and other things. So I'm still waiting for them to give me the concrete answer, what it takes to achieve what I want to achieve on the drums, the write up, the theme of the day to write in the drum and other things. So I'm still waiting, I'm still on it. Then the rehearsal started properly. You know, I said it to the ORs that I'm starting my rehearsal by October, and it has started. I know will not be shamed because it's going to be a very lovely thing at the end of everything. God will help us. So I'm on it. I'm working really on it, sir. And to the whole house, I'm really working on it.
Excellent, Richard. So that, okay. Mute when you're not speaking. You go background noises. Thank you. So quickly, that means that you started with the drums. So you started making them now. And that's wonderful. And well, of course, one thing I would suggest with the drum, because it's you know, let's cross our fingers that everything that we're planning becomes successful. If we're able to do that, then that drum is going to become very important. And that means that we're going to have to put the drum in a public place where people can visit it, so that it becomes a memento and it becomes a symbol of the whole effort. So people can go to whether a museum, you know, again, these are the things that I was thinking we could discuss with Freedom Park. If they put it in Freedom Park, maybe people will go to Freedom Park, want to bid it and put a coin in the kitty for this. You know, you could, you know, it could be a drum for luck, a drum for peace, a drum for whatever it is that people that we put in a public place. So that's what I was thinking. But you know, I think it's going to be a very important drum if we should do it. So let's keep that open. What do you think about that idea? And anybody can second that notion. What do you, Uche? Let's hear from you first.
All right, sir. Brilliant. So brilliant for me. I mean, having that and keeping it as a memory of the event, I think it's very, very good, sir. I like that.
Okay, so you're not opposed to it. Okay, okay, excellent. Okay, all right. Try to mute again. Thank you. Excellent. So I think Uche likes that idea, and because with that, I think we should all support the agenda for the making of this special drum for this purpose as proposed. I think that's really wonderful idea. So as we continue to put all of this together, I just texted Mr. Lawson again to give us a quick response on my proposal to him, because his decision is very determinant on how we go forward with this. So let's ask Mr. Tony Okuyeme how he's doing and what the climate is for in the media. And since you have Dr. Ekwo here with us now, is able to fix his audio, and he will be speaking right after you, based on what type of based on your report. So give us a report of the climate. Where are we? What do we need to do? What are the requirements, etc. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Like I said at the last meeting, the initial idea was to have like three phases. Of course, we know about the pre-event and of course the post-event. Pre, I think the series of activities in terms of publicity before the event itself, and of course those who will appear at the event to do a review, a very good report about what happened, how it happened, and the rest of them. Unfortunately, because of funds, we were only able to do the first one, which is the press release that was released about a month ago now, I think. And those ones were used. I made it clear that time that some of my colleagues who actually use this story still call me once not to ask me how far what is happening. And it's been difficult getting back to them because how far, of course, you know what that means. What do I do? What can I do? Before the press release was issued, I sent a proposal more or less to Mrs. Dorcas, James, and then of course told her what I was to lecture. But that I had to use my goodwill from them to from the use the story, do as much as possible as they can. This is something that they ordinarily should be involved, but because we know the nature of things today, it's a different ballgame altogether. But having said that, so that aspect has been done. I think about 7 of them used the story. The initial plan was, okay, having done that, what do we do next? So I suggested at the last meeting that we could begin to have interviews with the key stakeholders. I mean, those who have confirmed their participation in this particular event. For instance, it can be that if we have full-page interview with him and then share it, syndicate it as it were to other media houses. So they use it, and then from there, people, some of the other royal fathers to get to know those who are coming. And once we can get that, or for instance, if Professor Soyinka agrees to be there, we'll do an interview. That would be a very strong way of getting some of these other people. So that by the time you get your letters to them as invitation, or even those you want to send sponsorship letters to, they already have an idea of what the program is. I had already listed, I sent to you earlier, listed media organizations that I think we can reach out to so that they will be able to help us as much as possible and put it in the consciousness of everybody in Nigeria if I use that. But unfortunately, funds has been a key issue. So to get out of it, that was what I suggested last time we had at the meeting, that we should begin to get those who we know, starting with Kabiyesi. If we have an interview with Kabiyesi, we don't need to do a physical interview. We can do a WhatsApp interview, send questions to him, and then he answers, and we do a story. I will publish it in our own paper, send it across to the other national newspapers, Punch, Guardian, This Day, The Sun, Business Day, Daily Independent, and all the other major national newspapers, including online media organizations like Premium Times and PM News. Once we begin to do that, another week we have another personality interview who, for instance, has said, okay, I identify with this very project, I will be there, I will do the best I can to get other people to come. Even if you just one sentence in all the interviews, that could make the headline and then get people that attract people to want to be part of the event. But that has not happened. I'm here to get the information that I required to be able to at least send questions to Kabiyesi and then do an interview. Even though some of my other colleagues have discussed this, still expecting to hear from me, but I've not been able to do that because, of course, like I said last time, fun. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, I think we have so many options for content. All these requirements, I'm hearing them now. You have access to me. You can ask me anything, and you can also ask. Yeah. Okay. So we can even talk to. You can talk to Dr. Remi Alakwa as well. One of the things that we can do to really rally this up is, all the speakers, we could, as you say, we could do interviews with them. You could do interviews with them. And,
that's what I said last time.
Yeah. So, and I think maybe you should coordinate with Mr. Agumbiade. Maybe even we could do interview via Skype, via WhatsApp with them. We have to be creative. Obviously, it's better when we go there, but based on the budget, as you know, we just have to improvise, and that means that our funds will not be front loaded. That is, we'll do the work first, and then we'll try to sell the products. Okay, so either way, we'll the fruits of our labor. It's just how sometimes it just have to be, you know, a farming process. We have to plant and wait for the harvest. So that I wouldn't be too worried about that, but it's a very good layout plans. We have, you could interview the Awolowas, you could interview the Akintolas, even before the event itself. And I think that's helpful for them. You could interview all the spiritual, religious leaders who are going to be participating. You could interview the economic, the kings. Kabisi will facilitate that. I have most of their contacts, and they would be very glad to support this, okay, to have an interview with them, you know, especially those who live far. You could do it virtually, and you know, or whether it is the day that they come. So I think we can build a lot of things up, but you know, given the situation of you know, raising funds, which we'll talk about in a few, I think we need to step up the strategy, and I really wish that Mrs. Dorcas was here to participate with this. But let's hear from our president, Chief Anita. And if you're not too tired, we have discussed few things. Everybody have just presented much of what's going on, except Mr. Oyafo, who I'm waiting to hear from. But I wonder, ma'am, Chief Anita, if you're able to give an assessment. If I don't think that you're able to speak to Theo yet, because I believe he was traveling, he's not in town. But I haven't discussed the challenge and the decision and the options. But so far, we're just catching up on where things are. Mr. Agumbiade raised some issues that he's ready to deploy, but he needs some help with transportation costs and stuff like that. So I've told him to reach out to you. I think maybe if there's anything you want to say overall, let's hear from you first before we move on. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Dr. Wale. Yeah, we are ready to make sure that letters of invitation, sponsorship, partnership, collaboration are dispatched as soon as possible. Since we are now going to have the conference to be collapsed into 2 days, I believe, and it's going to be virtual, I believe we should just make it the conference of peace that in the next century that will never be forgotten. And I believe that with the we should just put all our efforts into this as if it were also person in person, while we are still planning for the big one. Let's just put all in all into this virtual conference. Let's bring all our talents, all the opportunities, all the people we can bring forth. Let's get them as soon as possible, because November is round the corner, by God's grace. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. I completely agree with you that this event has to be done. And we only have a month, pretty much just a month now, really, to get this started. You know, so to me, I know we're going to do it. I just don't know. What I'm not clear about is how. That is not how we're going to perform, but rather if we're going to do it physically, hybrid, or virtually. This is what I am struggling with, and I think we all have to make this decision. So we'll see. I have faith, but let's hear from Dr. Ekwo, because I think he has heard enough about all of this, and we would like to hear his advice based on his experience, and this is a very powerful man. So please, Dr. Ekpo, I'm very happy to have you with us. I'm very humbled, and we really need your advice and your guide. Please take the floor. And don't forget to unmute. Are you able to speak? I saw you just now. Where are you? Okay. Okay, so, well, when Dr. Ekpo comes back and is able to speak. Oh, sorry. Here he is. I think he's using the two system. All right, please take the floor. I think you can speak now. Dr. Uchenna, we can't hear you yet, so. We can't hear you yet, Dr. Ekpo. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Yeah. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. If you turn on your video, we'll even see you.
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So yeah, I've just been listening, you know, like I needed to have a better understanding of what's going on, even though we had exchanged emails and all the conversation we've had, but also knowing your background for many years, I know what you are into. So I also listened to you go through some historical developments in Nigeria. And yes, I've always thought that somehow a few things are not put in the correct perspective, you know, and I think it's our responsibility to really, you know, put some of these things in proper perspective, especially when we realize that opinions of people and the way we shape our narratives can be very critical in understanding our past, our present, and even our future. So I think you're doing a good job. I don't really have so much to say other than commend the efforts that's going on. And I also we have a stellar number of people around that can pull this in through. But I also know too that from the experience I've also had, you know, convening an event in Nigeria can be very challenging with a lot of logistical issues and the inflation and all that kind of stuff. So we must have to put that in mind as we're planning. I had you talk about a hybrid format, which I seriously encourage, because everything you do today takes that format. Because obviously there are people who will be here who may want to participate, but they can't travel to Nigeria. And there are people in Nigeria who also want to hear some perspectives about what's happening around the world, that you also have to find a way of having that hybridization of having a conference. So it's very critical. You have to put that in mind. And I had people talk about funds and all that. Funds, personally, funds will never be a deterrence to me, because there's never a time funds will be complete. We can never have all we need to be able to pull out a major event. So just have a positive mind towards that. And because there are certain things, perhaps people think that you can invest money, but it's a matter of your social capital that will help you pull that through. So everything money is important. Don't get me wrong, but it's not everything is not about money. All right, because if I always tell people who tell me that I'm underutilizing my potentials and all that, that I know people this and that, you shall be a rich guy. I say if I wanted to be a rich guy, I should have gone to Onitsha market to become a trader. But I think that's not my my calling. So the fact that you are able to help to build, shape opinion and all that, you don't even know how important that is. Ideas rule the world. ideas rule the world. All these ideas we are kind of circling around and all that. Ultimately, we don't know the lives these ideas will touch down the line. You know, even when we leave this world, people will remember some of these things we are doing today. If they're good enough, people are also document some of these things in the form of a book and all that. So all I can just say is that I'm watching, I'm listening to the conversation, and I applaud the efforts. It's something I want to identify with. You know, I'm 100% Nigerian, you know, so, and things are not going so well, and we want it to be better. So that's all our prayer, and I believe that's all this gathering we're talking about. So I yield. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you indeed. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank you. That's the kind of inspiration that we need. Thank you so very much. And I must ask you to please allow a direct contact from Mr. Tony Okwuyeme. Mr. Okwuyeme is a veteran, well awarded journalist who is also a dramatist, an actor, and a cultural writer. But I think that there's a whole lot that from the media section, there is a whole lot that could come out of it if you guys talk to each other. He's a very good man, and I've recommended you highly for him to speak with you based on the work. And we want to make sure that CMPI is involved in this program based on the virtue of the organization's purpose. It is the Center for Peace and Media Initiatives, and therefore is directly involved. I want to ask you also, my dear brother, that we are able to send, to reach out to Institute of Peace in the United States about our event, and any other institute that you might want to recommend. And that could be part of your contribution to this process as well. But I think you can be a very good liaison for this event in that aspect. And also you'll be speaking, you'll be scheduled to speak at the event as well. So I've asked for your bio and I've asked for your picture so that we can include it in the book. I'm going to show you a little bit of the book. So I think BJs also should see it. So I want to, I'll do that. So thank you very, very much for your time, for your support, for your encouragement, and for sharing this vision. This is something that is very important for us. And it looks better when multiple organizations come together to do this. And so we want to make sure we feature ourselves as much as possible. And you know, we cooperate and partner wherever it is possible in every way that makes it rewarding for every one of us. So I thank you again so much. Okay. If you don't have anything more to say, I was going to move to Mrs. Bukola, but I think she left already. She's texting me saying that we should speak later. That sounds like a positive thing. So anyway, before we yield, I want to I want to hear from Mr. Oyaifo, who has been able to oversee the whole thing. He's a very wise man. So let's hear from him what the assessment is. He's the one taking care of our logistics and all the volunteers and so on and so forth. What do you see the challenges are? What do we need? Where are we? Please.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Doctor, and thank you everyone that for taking their time to be here. Each time, I think we see the gathering swelling up, which is routine. Bringing new people is bringing new ideas. So wherever we are having challenges, I think every other person will be able to share with us. And again, it's like probably there's areas that are lacking. One person coming you can be able to also cover that with us. I would say we are a little bit lag behind, but I would prefer the stage now should be later set out how we are monitoring them to be able to see, okay, oh, this one we have set here, how is going, this one, like what Mr. Boyega said, because just dropping that, there's one thing we should understand. Most of you in the United States that have stayed very long and be here, it's a very different way. In Nigeria, you must, so many persons want to know what exactly is it doing, is it genuine, is it this? So you need someone to actually monitor. But thank God we also have some of this monitoring and follow-up can also come from your end, so that they see somebody actually from far said, okay, yes, they sent this letter, so person brought this letter. And again, so actually someone confirmed from social side that yes, ask this person to bring this letter. I think that is once the area I want to contribute. The second, the conflict analysis, because thank God the two family, we are reaching out to them and they're also telling you, reach out to this. We need, again, I know you must have done that thorough conflict analysis so that all the people involved in the two families are reached. Because if anybody is left behind and that person is still holding something, it might, one way or the other, not to affect the decision. So we need to reach down. Let's deep down on the conflict analysis, get around the people who are involved, able to reach them. We all agree and they bring the settlement. It's going to be a very great one. It's a big achievement. Even that is the only thing. It's a big, because it's a long thing that can be on ground. And a particular group of people is able to reach and make them come together. It's going to be a big achievement. Then on our side, we are just looking for the final green light. So once we have that green, I will reach also our people. I think the last time we created a platform too, where we gather people who want to bring in to do the monetary and all that. So once we see exactly what is happening, we will be able to continue reaching out that this is where we are. Unity, by God's grace, is going to take this and all that. I think those are the few things I would like to say. But thank God where we are. I believe next tomorrow or tomorrow can just be a different topic entirely. It's possible. It's possible. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's excellent. Thank you very, very much. So Damilare is not able to speak, and I want to share my screen quickly and just show you some important things, so you get a sense of, you know, some of these things that we're putting together that would be part of the book. So let me show it to you, please. All right. We'll do a slideshow. We'll take a few minutes. All right. So what we're seeing here is the traditional power structure before the colonialists and during the colonialists. Okay. Here you're seeing the traditional power structure of the Fulani Empire, the Caliphate. You see the Emir, the Sultan at the beginning there, and the Wazir is the Prime Minister. You see the Treasurer. You see all of those elements that makes them a group. Now, all of these are very necessary in the book because it gives us an idea of what was there and that which was destroyed. The issue here is that the Fulani are able to retain this power structure. Now, the Yoruba people have the same thing. Okay, they have, and I want you to pay attention to something very, very interesting. You see this star symbol here. This star symbol is something that the Yoruba people adopted. And this was a big mistake. I will explain that to you later. This was a very terrible mistake. They didn't know what that meant and they used it. The reason they used it is because it was in the Nigerian colonial symbol. It was in the flag of Great Britain, of colonial system in Nigeria. And they didn't know why those people put it there, but they inherited it. And that's why they inherited the biggest problem. All of those things were analyzed in the book. This is the structure of the Yoruba traditional ruling system. And here is the Igbo. You can see it. It's not as centralized as the Fulanis or the Yorubas. It's actually decentralized, but there is some central structure to it. But it's a fascinating thing that we're able to put all of that together. This is one thing I wanted to show you that is phenomenal. Now, the issue of Nigeria, a lot of people don't know about who George Tubman Goldie was, but Goldie was the one who actually bought Nigeria. He's the one who owned Nigeria before it was named. From the onset. He was the one who wrestled Nigeria from the hands of the Germans and the French and got Nigeria secured for Britain at the Berlin Conference. Okay, and these are all the administrators. These administrators, he's the one who hired Lord Lugard, Lord whatever, but he's the one who hired Lugard. Lugard was a mercenary in Sudan, and most of these guys were all mercenaries. They cleaned up because eventually they got hired when the English crown took over the territory, and they bought it over and paid Tubman Goldie for it. Tubman Goldie is the founder of the Royal Niger Company. And but I want you to pay attention to something. You see this, all these people they are 8. So there is an era of administrators of Nigeria, and that's 8 in total. These are the governor generals. The governor generals, this is when Nigeria became Nigeria. It was named already by Flora Shaw, and Flora got married to Lugard. These are the 8 governor generals that we had. Okay, these are the 8 governor generals that we had in Nigeria. Each one had their mark on the country. This is the making of Nigeria and the evolution of Nigeria itself. These are the military governments that we've had so far. And if you see, just like chance would have it, it's all 8 in numbers. Okay, all of them entered by coup except Obasanjo and Abdul Salam. Everyone else is coup. Okay, Obasanjo with secession, and Abdul Salam Abubakar with secession as well. Very interesting sequence. I want you to look at the pattern. The pattern is very important. Here, as fate would have it, here are the democratic leaders of Nigeria. They are 8 in numbers. I hope you're laughing because I didn't have to make this up. This is it. They're 8 in numbers. Okay. Most of them were deposed, if not assassinated, except Obasanjo and of course Jonathan and Buhari. Let's hope that Buhari exits peacefully. We can't jinx it. It's just a few months more. But so these are the challenges that we have in Nigeria, and all of these are going into the book. I'm just going to share a rough sketch of the book because it's still being worked on with you. Our book, as you know, has let me do the slideshow for this quickly, and I'm going to go through it very quickly. of course, our book has Mama Nike as, in the cover with Mandela and the Nigerian protagonists, Nigerian independence protagonists. I think we need to bring Mama Nike up to speed about what we're doing. So I leave that to Chief Anita to make the connection. I think, Chief Anita, we need to do a Zoom meeting with Mama Nike and Kabiyesi. And we need to figure out how to make that happen. Okay. That's us promoting Freedom Park and Kotler, which is the Council of Traditional Leaders of Africa. So I'm just going to skip through this quickly and just show you. So but this is going to be restructured. It's going to be properly. It's going to be put in a story form. Right now, it's just data, and the data shows the current conditions, the poverty account, and how the states were managed, and how much resources, the polls, etc. And really, it tells us why we're doing this event and why this event is a citizens' action. That means that, and this is why what we're doing is so unique, that the people who have tried to copy us are doing it wrong, because it is a citizen action. It's a citizen-driven initiative, and only the citizens can do that. Only the people can do that. When these governments do it themselves, they can spend all the money they want, but it doesn't take effect. It doesn't take effect. They came together, they signed a peace accord. It doesn't take effect. Everybody's like, what's the peace accord? Where does it go? Da, 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 da. It's because it wasn't properly articulated. There was no meaning to it. Now, obviously, these people are stealing from our playbook, right? Everybody knows that. We can't argue that. Because these are the people we send letters to already, and they just took the idea. But anyway, I would recommend that we don't do peace accord anymore. We'll do peace pledge. So they're still going to sign based on what we discussed, and that signature is going to be symbolic. It's not something that is. It's not something that is that could be enforced, except the government does it. But crime is a crime. But what we are asking them to do as a people is to pledge for peace. So there is no peace accord. We don't care if they do peace among themselves or not. It's do peace with the people. So let's focus on doing the peace pledge rather than accord. So that's the thing. And because all these big government people and whatnot have tried to do this event, I think these challenges our effort to raise money. However, I don't want it to deter us. I think we really need to make the last move, especially those who are involved in the fundraising, should be able to reach out properly, send out the letters. Let's follow up, but we need to send out the letters before we can follow up. But let's send out the letters. Let's keep a ledger of the letters that has gone out and who's taking care of it. I showed you the last time the spreadsheet of the accounts of what's going out, who has received what and whatnot, and who's following up. So I think we should keep that system. And this coming week, we must be able to finalize everything. All the letters must have gone out. We should already begin to follow up. We only have one more week to follow up. And what comes out of that is what we got to work with, okay? And since all these challenges that we're having, we have to determine if indeed we want to, if indeed we have three options, and we have to make sure we choose the most appropriate option right maybe in 1 week or a few days. We have the best option for us is hybrid, where we do it physically on the ground and we also do it virtually. We combine that. I think that will give us more rich content, all of that. Then we also have opportunity to just do it physically, right? That's when we just go on the ground and we do it without doing it virtually. That would take away a lot of participation, which I think is good. But the option that is most likely and is on the table right now, and I want us to really consider it, is if we do it virtually all the way. Now, if we do it virtually all the way, this means that we can have a global participation, and Uche can still do all the performances as required, and we could stretch or collapse the event as we like. It's virtual, and I think we could I guess we could still achieve the same thing pretty much. The only thing is that touch, that physical, it's always best to do it hybrid and to have a physical presence. But I want us to begin to consider if we could do it virtually. Okay, so I want us to just keep that in mind. So you could see that the production of the content of the book is very encompassing, and it would really I think it would be an eye-opener for most people. It's a commendable piece of work, and it's very, very useful. The reason people don't know about Goldie, Tubman Goldie, is because he placed a curse on anyone who writes his history. So everybody's been afraid of writing about him. That's why there's not a lot of content about him. But there are 3 people who really moved Africa and led the whole invasion of Africa and drove the Berlin Conference. Cecil Rhodes, of course, Tubman Goldie, Cecil Rhodes, and Lothar von Trotha. These are the people who really did some really remarkable work for us. So you can see well, this is still in the works, but there's a lot of content. Okay, there's a lot of content and there's a lot more coming to it. So that's pretty much our story, and then of course after all of that we have us in the book. Of course this is we have the section of Awolowo and Akintola and all their stories, the involvement of their wives. It's a remarkable story. And also I want you to know that the Awolowo and Akintola story will lead us directly into also appeasing the Civil War, the effect of the Civil War. Okay, the Civil War is a direct product of that conflict, and we needed to do a reconciliation with that as well. At least we need to straighten out some issues, but we hope that this particular connection is going to drive us there. For me, to be honest with you, I believe that diversity is good for us. I don't want to live in a homogeneous society. Diversity is good for us. The more the merrier. We just got to figure out how to be just and how to be in harmony. And if we're not able to do that, it's only because we're not smart. That is the belief, and that's what I, that's what I truly believe. So, yeah, so, as you know, we have Yoruba kings, but not only, but also we have some traditional kings who are of other. Let me stop this. So that's the short notice of that. That's a short notice of that. You guys have seen yourself. You've seen much of these pictures, right? So that's us, and there's more to come. I've gotten some bios of other people that's going to be mapped in here. So, we have something that is really tangible, that is worth sharing with the world, and we just got to do our best to make sure we do it right. Okay, we're going to make some young people proud. We're going to make life better for posterity. And we're going to inspire the country that citizen stands for something, that we are able to make decisions and understand the challenges and support, have a voice in this whole process. So that's where we are, and that's what we're doing. I'm now going to yield the floor to anyone who has a comment or a question. I thank you so much. See where to. There you go. Okay. Thank you very much. Any comments? Any comments? I think everybody went to sleep.
We are still on.
No, we are still here. We are still here.
I was afraid. I was afraid. I was afraid. So yeah, so that's what we got, and I want to acknowledge. I don't know if she's still here. Maybe not. Okay. All right. So, well, it's just us here. So I think Chief Anita left already as well. She must be tired. And so that's really what we have. So I want us to begin to think, should there be a challenge in doing this practically on the ground? Maybe we could do it virtually. Well, doing it is what we must do. So I want us to figure it out, how best to do it. What is going to determine if we're able to do it on the ground is Freedom Park. So I think before we approach Freedom Park again, we need to speak to Mama Nike. So I don't know, Uche, you may have to help to set up an appointment with Mama Nike and Chief Anita, so we could really talk to her about some of the challenges we face and some of the opportunities. I know that she can influence how we use Freedom Park. So let's see what could come out of that. All right, but that's what we have. So that's what we tend to do. There will be more explanation about everything else later, but that's the idea. Okay. Yeah, a lot of.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
That's not a problem, sir. We can actually link with her. But she now she's planning to travel out of the country maybe in 2-3 days. So I don't know when she's coming back.
Oh, really? She's going out of the country? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so she's busy then.
Going out of
Okay.
the country. So I don't know when she's coming.
Where is she going?
Yeah.
Where is she going? Is she going to America
So
or
I
going
don't
to
know
Europe?
when she's coming back.
Where is she going?
I think she's going to. I think she's. No, I think it's London. I think she's going to London.
London.
UK.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to London.
Okay. Well, in that case, what about our assistant? I was actually wondering if we can get our assistant into one of our meetings. Can we?
I didn't get you, sir. The network here is bad. I didn't get you.
The question is, can we get our assistant?
Why not? You can, you should be. But I think should be in the right position to give us a final say. Once we encounter with her, she gives her word. I think that is perfect by us. That speaking with the assistant. Assistant might not understand how to sit down with her, to table the matter and all that. So I think it would be better for us to speak with her directly.
I think so too. I think we should reach out to the assistant and get her involved. So, okay, can you please get the assistant's email and WhatsApp number so we can involve her, engage her, and bring her up to speed about what we're doing?
Of course, why not? I should be able to tell.
Yeah, I think that's what we should do. Let's try to do that as soon as possible, please. Okay? So we'll inform her and keep her up to speed. I think that would be really good. Okay? All right. Okay, everybody, since it's really late, I want to thank you again for all your effort and for being here. If there is anything you want to add, please do so before we close the meeting. Anyone has anything to add? All right. BJ, what is the name and the logo of your press, of your publications? Can you hear me? BJ? Okay. Yeah, you can speak. Please go ahead and speak. If you could share the logo and the name of your publication, that would be of your printing press. That would be wonderful. By the way, I was with Gabriel yesterday and day before. He just left this afternoon. He was hanging out with me. So all is well. Next time we get together, I will give you a call directly. Let's chat. All right, everyone. Is there anything else before we close? Mr. Okuyeme, please follow up with Dr. Ekwo. He's a superman and he's a wonderful heart, and he will be able to help in many ways.
I don't have his number. You still have to send his number to me. I don't have his number.
Okay, I will send it again. I sent it before to you. I'll send it again. And I copied you on the email to him. So I will send it again. No worries. Yes, BJ. You want to say something before we close? All right. Okay. Well, we brought this to the end today again. I want to, again, thank you and thank God for bringing us together. BJ, do you want to say something before we close?
No, I'm with you.
Okay. All right. All right. Great. Okay. All right. In that case, let's have Mr. Oyafo please give us a closing prayer. Don't forget to unmute. Don't forget to unmute. Are you able to do the prayer? Okay, if Mr. Oyafo is not ready, we're gonna have to ask Mr. Okuyeme. Next time will be Uche when he's not in a loud area.
Yes, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
Okay. I'm going to pray with Muslim prayer. I ask Almighty Allah to be with everyone as well as we end this prayer. Purpose we come for this prayer, let it materialize for all of us. And as we go back to our various homes, let it put in place those things that will be a challenge to us, and let it help us to achieve the main purpose of this gathering and this peace summit. And I submit every one of you onto his hands. Fatiha, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Rahmanirrahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين كن فيكون سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين الحمد لله رب العالمين. Peace be on you all. Thank you and good night.
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very, very much. That's perfectly wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night and we'll reconvene. Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.